Have you ever noticed how some people treat friends like they're temporary? Like they can be close fast and then disappear just as fast? Here's the uncomfortable question. Is that a character flaw? Or is it a moving strategy that got stuck on repeat? Long-term research found that people who moved a lot as kids often had fewer high-quality relationships as adults. Not fewer contacts, fewer deep ones. And the effect was strongest for certain personality types. So if you've always felt weirdly calm about goodbyes, let's talk about what your nervous system learned early. Before we move on, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Have you ever noticed that after a move, some people can walk into a new room and be fine in a week? And you're still tired 2 months later? Same school, same hallway, same what's up. But your body acts like you ran a race you don't remember signing up for. Think about it. It's your first day at a new school. You walk in with a backpack that still smells like cardboard boxes. The lunchroom is loud in that flat echo way. You're holding a tray. You don't know where to put your eyes. You spot a table with an empty seat. Then you see the look, not mean, just neutral. And neutral is hard when you're new. You sit anyway. You laugh at a joke you didn't catch. You nod like you get the slang. You take small bites so you don't look like you're stress eating. But here's the thing. The hard part isn't the big moments. It's the tiny choices stacked on top of each other. Every new hello is a micro decision. Where do I sit? Who do I text? How much do I share? Do I tell the real story or the short one? Psychologists call part of this executive function. It's the brain system that plans, filters, and keeps you on. And moving makes it work non-stop. You're not just meeting people. You're running live math in your head while trying to look relaxed. You're watching faces for clues. You're guessing the rules. You're trying to be warm but not too eager. Easy but not weird. That takes fuel. And you burn it all day. Then you get home and you don't want to talk to anyone, even the people you like. Now let's zoom in on introversion. This isn't shy. Shy is fear of being judged. Introversion is a lower ceiling for social stimulation. New people hit harder. Small talk drains faster. Recovery takes longer. So when you move a lot and you're more introverted, the cost adds up. You can still be friendly. You can still make friends. You just pay more for each hour of it, like your social battery is older than everyone else's. And then comes the loop. You finally learn one place. The jokes, the pecking order, the safe topics, the one teacher who hates side talk. You start to feel your shoulders drop a little. Then you move again. New norms, new group code, new way to be funny, and your mirror neurons go into overdrive. That's the brain system that copies other people so you blend in. You pick up their tone. You copy their pace. You laugh when they laugh because you're trying to not stand out. That copying is a skill, but it's also work. It's like you're acting in a play with no script. You keep checking the crowd to see if you're doing it right. Research shows that lots of childhood moves link to fewer high-quality adult ties later. Not because you can't connect, because deep bonds take time and repeat contact. And if you're introverted, you don't replace bonds fast. You don't want 10 new people, you want 2 real ones. So you do this thing. You make one close friend. You share snacks. You trade secrets. You finally stop scanning the room. Then it's packing tape. It's a goodbye card. It's we'll keep in touch. And you learn, quietly, that closeness has a price tag. Deep ties hurt to rip out. So next time, you keep it light. You stay fun. You stay useful. You don't hand over the soft parts. And that becomes a habit, not a choice. This is also why you can look calm during goodbyes. Your nervous system learned to go numb on cue, not because you don't care, because caring was expensive. It wasn't that you were bad at fitting in. You were paying a bigger social price per move. Same event, different temperament, totally different load. Which brings us to the scar you don't notice at first. Not your social skills, your baseline mood, the part of you that expects loss even when life is stable. There is something different about the grief that shows up years later. You're in a good city. You've got a job that's fine. You've got a couple friends you can text on a Friday, and still, you feel like you're watching your life through glass. You wake up, you do the day, you even laugh. But part of you stays braced, like something is about to change again. Psychologists call this neuroticism. It's not being negative. It's a trait where you feel threat faster, and you don't shut it off as quick. You replay the weird look. You reread the short reply. Your body keeps the score even when your brain says, "We're fine." So if you moved a lot, that trait doesn't just color your mood. It sets the volume on the whole move. Because every move is uncertainty on purpose. New streets, new rules, new social rank. You don't know where to park, what people wear, how loud to be, how to joke without getting that blank stare. And your stress response gets reps, like a fire drill that becomes the real thing. Your heart learns the pattern. Your stomach learns the pattern. You get good at being on edge because it helped you scan fast and adjust fast. But here's the thing. The stress doesn't always show up right then. It can come later, when you're safe. Research shows adult well-being can look like it's only about your current life, but early mobility can leave a long imprint. Not in a dramatic way. More like an aftertaste you can't place. You're not sad about one address. You're trained to expect the floor to move. So you settle into a new place and you do the normal stuff. You bring in the boxes, you hang the curtains, you find the grocery store, and still you don't fully move in. You unpack the last box, but you don't unpack yourself. You keep one foot out. You don't buy the nice couch. You don't paint the walls. You don't learn the neighbors' names because names turn into faces, and faces turn into ties, and ties turn into goodbyes. This is where digital detachment starts to look like a skill. You keep people at arm's length, not by being cold, but by staying light. You react with a heart. You send a meme. You don't ask for the long call. You don't risk needing. Which brings us to social comparison theory. That's the idea that you figure out where you stand by sizing yourself up against the people around you. In a new place, you're forced to do that fast. Who's cool here? What counts? What's embarrassing? Where do I rank? For high neurotic people, that comparison doesn't feel like curiosity. It feels like a threat scan, like your brain is running security in the background. You're not trying to be shallow, you're trying to stay safe. Imagine you walk into a party. You smile. You do the lines. You say, "How do you know them?" You laugh at the right spots. But inside, you're tracking exits, tone shifts, tiny signs you're not wanted, a pause that's half a beat too long, a glance across the room, a group photo you weren't pulled into. Not drama. Pattern recognition turned up too high. And here's what makes this fascinating. Moving can build real strengths too. You can end up with a high internal locus of control, which is just a fancy way of saying you trust yourself to handle things. You can adapt quick. You can make a fresh start without melting down. This wasn't weakness, it was competence. But the cost is subtle. If you get too good at starting over, you may stop expecting people to stay. You don't say it out loud. You just live like it's true. You keep plans loose. You keep feelings neat. You keep your life easy to pack. So when you feel that lingering grief, it's not proof you're broken. It's a trained stress system plus a life history. Personality didn't doom you. It shaped how the same moves landed in your body. Now let's land this. If you can name your trait pattern, you can change your moving strategy without trying to become a different person. Now you can see it clean. The move wasn't just a life event. For your brain, it was repeated training. Introversion changes the energy cost of rebuilding. Neuroticism changes the threat level you feel while doing it. Psychologists call this trait pattern, and once you can name it, you stop blaming your character. It wasn't flaky, it was your nervous system doing math. Drop a comment with how many times you moved before 18, and whether you lean more introvert or extrovert. Hit like and subscribe because we dive deep into psychology that actually explains how your mind works. Next time, we'll talk high-quality ties you build on purpose.